Right here, we're going to be reacting to the newest Death Battle. Death Battle is a pretty important channel to me, um, if you didn't already know. And I'm pretty excited for them to be back. So, yeah, you know, you can just sit down here with me. We can watch this together. We'll enjoy it. I'm not very familiar with either of these two characters. Ichigo, my only experience with Ichigo, unironically, is from SSF2. Uh, yeah, and I literally know nothing about Yusuke. Zero. I haven't watched Yu Yu Hakusho. I've heard extremely good things about Yu Yu Hakusho, but I haven't watched it. Bleach, I'm completely, yeah. I'm kind of blindsided by both of these characters. I don't really care that much about them. It's no One Piece. But yeah, regardless, I'm still excited to see this. I know a lot of the people on the team are probably very very big fans of uh, Bleach, and I'm sure Man City is losing. Manchester City is losing, guys. I think, I think the only thing that can salvage this right now is for this to go pretty well, and I'm sure it will. Okay. Uh, I have a lot of faith, and I'm going to unpause the video, or unpause the recording rather, when the video actually starts. And after we're done with this video, I'm going to try and um, you know, give a bit of a channel update. So yeah. Now I realize that it probably isn't a good idea to just, show the entire video and just have me commenting over it. So I decided, you know what? Let me get the skies. Ooh. Alright, we got the Sonic beanie, we got whatever this thing is, covering majority of my face. And then we got glasses, sunglasses. Yeah, I'm struggling to breathe under this thing actually. You know what? I'm sure it's fine. Let's
Kurosaki versus Yusuke Urameshi.
The substitute Shinigami of Bleach versus the spirit detective of Yu Yu Hakusho. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Tell me, Boomstick, what happens when we die?
Okay, I'm sorry for pausing already at the very beginning, but I haven't done one of these before. I'm not the most skilled at reaction videos and stuff, so forgive me if this isn't the highest quality. And all that. I mean, look at me. I'm already kind of messing up with the entire mask thing. Yeah, let's just carry on.
Endless nothingness? Jeez, man, I don't know. We just started.
Our souls are ferried by Shinigami, gods of death, in an eternal cycle of death and rebirth.
That was my second guess.
And when a soul goes astray, warped by evil and regret, it's a Shinigami's job to purify such violent hollows and send them off to the realm of the dead, the Soul Society.
All of these were
Works
in
great till it doesn't. Enter Ichigo Kurosaki, whose tragic anime backstory came way too early when his mom was killed by a hollow. Reason number one why you should never want your kid to be the anime protagonist.
Left with his grief, young Ichigo was crushed under the weight of survivor's guilt.
So he lashed out the only way he knew how, beating people up.
But this wound began to heal when he found his calling, upon meeting a Shinigami named Rukia. To stop a powerful hollow, she gave Ichigo her powers, rousing unseen potential within.
Boom! Just like that, Ichigo's a Shinigami.
Substitute Shinigami. To carry out his duties, Ichigo sheds his body for an invisible one made of spiritual matter called Reishi. He can wield vast amounts of spiritual energy, called Ryoku, and exert it offensively in the form of spiritual pressure, or Reiatsu.
Okay, that's a lot of big words, but all it really means is he's a super-powered ghost with an epic sword. His spirit aura is so strong, he can stun-lock foes, crushing them under his own power, even fatally.
He controls spirit matter in and around him, hardening his skin for defense and leaping off of invisible footholds in the air. Paired with speed-boosting skills like Shunpo, he can virtually fly.
Say goodbye to the kid who beat up bullies for their lunch money. And hello to the town's new superhero with fellow Ghostbusters Orihime, Chad, and Uryu. Plus Rukia, it was the Shinigami's job to tear Hollows a new hole.
While balancing responsibilities at school, of course. GPA comes first, and maybe a round or two of tech.
But it wouldn't be possible without his Shinigami blade, a Zanpakuto. It's basically a superpowered spirit that's physically a sword. Ghost Sword!
Though strangely, Ichigo's sword is composed of two distinct spirits, both named Zangetsu, which isn't confusing at all.
Just call him Old Man Zangetsu and Hollow Zangetsu. Anyway, the double Ghost Sword gives Ichigo lots of new moves, including his trademark attack, the Sword Beam to end all sword beams. Getsuga Tensho!
I never actually understood like the pronunciation for that. When I heard it in SSF2 for the first time, I don't think I'm adding anything to this conversation, but yeah. It seems like something that would be used very often, Again, I haven't watched Bleach, don't mind me.
Getsuga Tensho is incredibly powerful, and so effective that Ichigo developed multiple variants. He can fire it as a wave, detonate it mid-attack to act as a barrier, and combine two at once into the even stronger Getsuga Jujisho.
To cut even the biggest hollows down to size, Ichigo was ridiculously strong, even from frame 1.
He can make giant shockwaves and parry spiritual light beams from a Menos Grande. And these aren't fake, slower-than-light lasers. Guidebooks confirm they're real light, and the novels say so too.
Plus, early on, Uryu moved so fast that he left his own shadow behind.
But as Ichigo became more involved with the Soul Society, he quickly found that he wasn't good enough.
This Byakuya guy's so fast, Ichigo can't even see him. Time for a good old-fashioned training arc. Hit the music!
Until now, Zangetsu had operated only in its base state, Shikai. So Ichigo learned to release its inner power, a 10 times boost that takes most Shinigami a decade to master. Bankai! In Bankai, his speed skyrocketed, letting him turn the tables on douchebag Byakuya. Even in Shikai, he blocked an attack that could destroy the whole friggin' Soul Society. Because Ichigo's greatest gift is his potential to improve. Despite only being a teenager, he mastered swordsmanship well enough to thrash experts who had been training for centuries. He can quickly adapt to new weapons and styles mid-fight, surpassing his limits time and time again. Like when he took on Catboy Grimjow. He was getting clamped, but as soon as he heard Orihime cheering him on, that was all he needed to smash that kitty. You mean Grimjow, right? Yeah, but even with that main character energy, Ichigo couldn't match Big Bad Aizen. With just a finger, Aizen stopped Ichigo's Bankai. And his theme song, Rude! Ichigo needed to tap into his unexplained hollow power. Except Hollow Zangetsu wasn't going to make it easy. Old Man Zang's pretty chill, but this guy's a menace. Still, Ichigo needed his help and conjured a hollow mass to expand his power. But this meant the hollow within only grew stronger. Masked up, he can fire lasers, bypass super senses, and heal lost limbs. But piss him off enough, and he'll go full hollow. And you really don't want that. Hollowification exceeds even Bankai, and was enough to crush Ukiura in a battle that shook all of Hueco Mundo, the world of hollows. Full hollow Ichigo could even tear through all 3 layers of hell. But with help from his secret Shinigami father, Ichigo continued to train for months in the Dangai, a corridor between dimensions, until he was finally ready to challenge Aizen. Challenge is an understatement. He manhandled Aizen, shattered mountains with sheer aura, and flexed so hard he smashed out of the black coffin, which crushes space like a mini black hole. And yet, it still wasn't enough. So by becoming Getsuga itself, Ichigo unleashed his ultimate attack, Mugetsu, defeating Aizen at the cost of all his power. He might have saved everyone, but now it was back to Normieville. Ichigo never truly realized until then just how much being a Shinigami meant to him. The power to protect others, his drive, his pride in himself was gone. He would give anything to get it back. And he did, thanks to a surprise assist from Rukia. Boom!
Okay. We will be watching this.
Shinigami again! Just in time for a 1,000-year blood war with a final endgame boss, Yuhabak, who planned to end everything. And while other Shinigami...
Is that how to pronounce his name? Yuhab? I thought it was Yuwat. I don't actually know how to pronounce his name now that I think about it. Hang on. Wait. I have to Google. Surprise to me. Death Battle is completely correct here. Uh, Yuhaba. That's not how they pronounce it. I'm going.
Boss, Yuhabak,
who
Yuhaba.
planned to end everything. And while other Shinigami tried their best, only Ichigo was special enough to pull it off.
His father was a Shinigami. His mother was a member of the ancient Quincy's and possessed by a hollow. Hence, his two Zanpakuto spirits, one Quincy, the other hollow and Shinigami, made Ichigo a perfect union to break Yuhabak's plan. Finally, Ichigo understood himself, fully unifying with both Zanpakuto spirits within. With that came a new Shikai and two new Zanpakuto.
True Shikai! If you thought Ichigo was strong before, oh boy, he's the strongest Shinigami alive. They're dead. Undead? Yeah.
Stronger than Kanbachi, who could split the Dangai in half. Stronger than Senjumaru, who shook heaven and earth across the realms. And strong enough to match Yuhabak, even after he absorbed the Soul King.
Juiced up with Soul King power, Yuhabak could nuke all three realms. The human world, Soul Society, and Hueco Mundo, plus the Dangai and Garganta in between, which have a bunch of pocket dimensions sprinkled in. Hell, just the Soul King's corpse sent a shockwave across all the realms.
And it's not a matter of disrupting the flow of souls. Yuhabak was going to end everything through sheer power alone.
But Ichigo still wasn't done powering up.
Entering a new half-hollow form and merging his Getsuga Tensho with a mighty hollow attack, the Gran Ray Sero.
Making a giant crescent slash that ripped through space itself.
All that power culminating in his true Bankai. A power so great, even Yuhabak was scared of it.
Joke's on you! Ichigo didn't even need it! You're done!
Ichigo was finally content. And 10 years later, he remains a Shinigami, having found the courage to stand on the edge of life and death, conquer his fears, and walk onward.
Are we going to any
Most teams.
Okay, no. The editing on that was absolutely top notch. First things first, get out of the way. I haven't checked who edited this episode. But whoever did, fantastic job. The only other thing I really noticed is that Bleach has like a really fucking awesome art style. I don't know, I really like it. Not enough to convince me to watch it, however, but yeah. Bleach looks cool. Bleach looks awesome. Had I given a shit about Bleach, maybe I would be popping off a bit more. I do think, even speaking from the outside, I do think the story was a bit, the story aspect of this analysis was a bit, topsy-turvy, I guess. Again, I know nothing about Bleach, but it seems like they skimmed through a lot. And I still know nothing about the series, but it didn't really seem like a fantastic summary of the story. I guess I know what I need to know. I know what I need to know about the main character, and that's all that matters, isn't it? Alright, let's get to Yusuke.
Teenagers have no idea what they want to do with their life. However, that was hardly a problem for juvenile delinquent Yusuke Urameshi, because he only ever wanted to do one thing.
Throw hands! It don't matter who the ops are, be they women, old folk, or babies, Yusuke lived to fight. It's what gave life meaning. Who cares about stupid things like friends and family?
Which is why it was so surprising when one day he threw himself in front of a speeding car to save a child, bringing that reckless life to a screeching halt.
Something that would happen
blames another victim.
But this is chapter 1 of a battle shonen, so death is hardly the end.
Surprisingly, though, it wasn't a spooky skeleton in a hood who arrived to claim Yusuke's soul. It was a blue-haired anime girl on a broomstick.
This was Botan, whose job was to ferry Yusuke's newly deceased spirit off to the afterlife.
Unfortunately, or I guess fortunately for him, he was such an asshole that the underworld didn't see his selfless death coming and didn't have any space prepared for him. Imagine being such a menace to society that the second you do something nice, hell itself gets caught with its pants down.
So the underworld surrogate king, Koenma, offered Yusuke an alternative. he could return to life as an agent of the afterlife, a spirit detective, solving supernatural crimes and fighting off demonic threats to humanity.
Naturally, Yusuke did what anyone would do in that situation, then told Satan Jr. to stuff it! I mean, he was never really good for anything and no one was gonna miss him, so what's the point of coming back to life? It's not like his mom would be sad, or his childhood sweetheart Keiko would be heartbroken, or even his rival Kuwabara would shed manly tears. Oh man!
At the sight of loved ones who cared far more than he ever expected, Yusuke had a change of heart and accepted Koenma's offer, returning to life with a new purpose and a new job.
And newfound ass-kicking ability. In his quest to beat the dog shit out of demonkind, Yusuke learned to harness Reiki, or spirit energy. He's ridiculously strong, fast, and durable, heals from wounds quickly, and can see spirits invisible to mortal men.
Even early on, Yusuke could parry Suzaku's lightning arrows, which are formed from real lightning called down from the sky. And with the help of legendary warrior Genkai, he mastered a signature move that could blast anyone to smithereens.
We've kind of started this already. I know it's already pretty obvious that Ichigo is going to win. I mean, I'm pretty tapped into the community. I've seen the G1 blog. I've also seen the organization blog. So I know Bleach is like miles above Yu Yu Hakusho. But like, they just talked about it in Ichigo's analysis, they were on about like light and shit, and now they're talking about lightning. So like it already brings to mind that Ichigo is faster, right? I know they haven't mentioned like the big feats, but yeah.
My favorite shonen move ever, the Spirit Gun! At first, Yusuke had a limited number of shots, but eventually he turned it into his personal WMD. Stronger than any weapon on Earth, he could go finger blasting around as much as he wants.
The Spirit Gun is more versatile than it appears. Yusuke can bounce it off surfaces for sneak attacks, propel himself around like a rocket in flight, and produce massive explosions with each shot.
He can twist it up for a Spirit Shotgun, a mighty AoE blast, or a Spirit Punch, where he keeps the energy stored in his fists and clobbers the hell out of you. And the Spirit Wave, a Kamehameha from before we uncultured Americans knew what a Kamehameha was.
Yusuke may be a punk, but he's deceptively skilled and cunning in battle.
He's not afraid to fight dirty, throwing his shoes, using sleight of hand to place cigarettes on his foe to track them in the dark.
Personally, I'd call that smart, and his hand-to-hand is A+. He's matched experts like Kabano, who's said to have mastered all forms of martial combat.
But his best secret is how quickly he improves. All it takes is a round of training or someone threatening his friends, and Yusuke's power will spike to match stronger enemies, even if it means literally burning through his own life force for a power-up.
All known demons and demon fighters are individually ranked on a scale of power from E to S.
E and D class demons are nothing special. We're talking local threats at best. C and B are getting a bit dicey in a destroy your city kind of way. A and S? Well, hold on to your ass. We're talking end of the world.
As Yusuke forged bonds with new allies, like demons Hiei and Kurama, as well as his old pal Kuwabara, he found himself facing opponents he couldn't beat, such as the monstrous Toguro, who could vaporize weaker demons and crush their souls.
Look at the size of that guy. What the hell?
But Yusuke needed to survive and protect his loved ones, so he had no choice but to rank up, even if it meant absorbing the power of a small star. Thanks, Genkai!
Our sun has an average luminosity of 380 septillion watts.
Why are we counting this?
Small stars like red dwarfs output about 1/10,000th of that. So this spirit orb's energy per second would equal about 9 million megatons of TNT.
Enough to send Toguro to the grave.
Even after pushing past his own limits, Yusuke would still need more power to face S-class threats like Sensui, a past spirit detective gone bad, and a great measuring stick for what top-tier demons are capable of.
Sensui was so yoked, he couldn't even use all his power in the human world without threatening to bring down the whole thing. He compared destroying the whole goddamn planet to kicking an anthill.
According to Genkai, Yusuke could destroy the planet too, if he really wanted. And even A-class threats like King Enma have shaken both the demon and human worlds.
That anima guy is strong as balls.
Okay, you know what,
in the
this
past,
might not be
he
as
fought the
tough to
Netherworld
as I
King
thought it
Yakumo,
I mean,
who could
this might not be
eradicate
as
the entire
stumpy
human
as I
world
thought it
and
was.
remake the
Which one is
Netherworld.
focusing?
But Yusuke's power surpassed
doubt
both of them, to the point where he overloaded Yakumo with his own energy. And do keep in mind, Yusuke was still only A class at the time, a far cry from S classes like Sensui, whose sacred energy was 10 times his superior.
But not for long, sucker, because turns out Yusuke was a demon himself.
Literally. Yusuke is the descendant of an ancient and incredibly powerful being, one of the strongest in existence, Raizen, the Demon King.
With his Mizoku mark, Yusuke can channel Raizen's spirit for a huge power boost and a massive...
Okay, so I'm noticing that a big theme of this matchup is like their nepotism, I guess. I know that's not a very nice thing to say. Maybe One Piece has fried my brain a bit too much, but you know, yeah. I've seen all of the jokes about Ichigo that it's always like, oh, he has a. If Ichigo was in a One Piece, he would be half fishman, half a celestial dragon. Just keep on piling all of them up, you know. At the very least, okay, and now I know a connection. I know a connection. That's awesome. Um, both are some spirit-related dudes. Both are some, you know, they use energy and stuff. Uh, both are dead and kind of not dead, somewhat, and both of them have powers coming from their parents. That's cool. Sure. I just articulated that in like the worst way possible, but it doesn't matter.
Thirst for murder boost. This was his first taste of a dangerous new type of spirit energy, Yoki.
A form of energy used by demons. Like normal Reiki, it can be amplified by intense emotions. Unlike normal Reiki, its use creates a pleasurable feeling, feeding into the user's rage and bloodlust,
that's true.
the
That's true.
feral animal within.
So Yusuke upgraded his spirit gun to a demon gun. It's the same thing, but red. Oh, and it's strong enough to blast Sensui past the horizon, putting Yusuke's power firmly in S class.
And making him a prime candidate to rule the demon world. But as he was thrust into a tournament vying for that throne, Yusuke began to wonder if all this power was what he really wanted.
Self-reflection? From I'll kick your ass, Yusuke Urameshi? Nah, we can worry about that later. There's a tournament to win. Which one of you, girl, baby, or grandparents is first?
Even then, as Yusuke took on the Demon King Yomi in an epic final battle, he was still growing. He had become far stronger than before, even achieving a unique version of the Mizoku form separate from Raizen's influence.
And a brand spanking new form of power. Kinda like Sensui's secret energy, but even better. It's so unprecedented, it doesn't even have a name, but it's golden glowy.
Strong enough to clash with Yomi, creating an explosion that split the heavens above and decimated the Okunin tree below,
Oh my God.
pushing the Demon King himself to his absolute limits.
But
Go ahead and read it. I can't believe I didn't even like paid out as much attention to Ichigo's. Okay,
then,
you know, I'll get to that after.
Yusuke lost. It's not all bad though. Even if being king would have been cool, Yusuke realized he wanted something more. He'd grown up and chose to walk a new path.
It was always Yusuke's connections with others that motivated him above all else. And it was in those connections that he found his happy ending.
But I wouldn't piss him off if you can avoid it. Get him in the right mood or threaten the human world, and the spirit detective will beat your stupid ass.
I think that was a pretty damn good analysis segment. One thing I like about an analysis segment is if like it sells me on a character even more. Yeah. Believe it or not, the only other time this happened, well, that I can remember, excluding like Superman, it happened for me for Superman. It also happened for me for Killua, back in Killua versus Misaka. Completely unironically, by the way. When like an analysis segment has me like rooting for the character, I really, you know, it makes me feel so much better about it. Of course, the editing here is still top notch and all of that. You know, we get the pleasantries out of the way. It's Death Battle. Death Battle. Death Battle has some of the most fantastic editors that I've ever seen. So repeating that over and over again, it feels kind of weird. You know, if you just know that the editing is top notch. I definitely agree. But yeah, I think Yusuke's analysis was probably better than Ichigo's. That is to say that I'm spitballing here, but I'm assuming the Bleach is much longer than Yu Yu Hakusho. So there was a lot less story to cover for Yusuke, which is why I think the analysis was a bit better. But yeah, regardless, I really enjoyed that one. I'm honestly rooting for Yusuke now. I already know how this ends because you know Ichigo is definitely much stronger. But yeah, see how this goes actually.
Long has its return been foretold, but now, finally, it is reborn.
The original Death Battle shirt that once dominated the world. Hell yeah, there's no better way to wear a blood spatter on your chest.
We've restored the original shirt with even better materials, and it's available now on deathbattle.gg. That's our website that's also kind of like a Patreon.
Okay, $39.99. That's not ridiculous. I didn't read that properly. In Canadian dollars, it probably is that expensive, honestly. But yeah, that's not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous to say that. They're better. You guys, I love you. But we're going to have to skip the ad because this video is getting pretty long.
All possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Okay. Final bet Ichigo. We all agree with that. Me and you agree that Ichigo is going to win this. And there's no way in hell that Yusuke is going to win this. Come on. There he is. There they are. That's popping up.
That's a demon.
That's a hollow.
No doubt about it.
Oh my god! Wait, this song! What? What am I hearing, man? Okay, yeah.
Spirit Guide! Getsuga Tensho!
Okay, I'm loving Yusuke's hand-to-hand domination. This guy is awesome. I love him. I'm liking him.
Hollow.
Okay, it looks like we're escalating to like this.
Chump change.
Reckless idiot!
What a baby! Little demon energy got you scared?
Nah.
Ichigo is scared himself. Okay, so a random thing to point out here. The clash of like the red aura and the blue aura making the purple in between, it's beautiful. It's amazing looking.
Getsuga! Yujisho! Two at once? Damn, why didn't I think of that?
Give in to me, Yusuke. Let's devour him together.
Hell no! This is my fight, jackass! You just don't be back!
Hang on, because this is way too cool for me. Way too cool for me to be like lagging and stuff. Come on, let me see how I can fix this. Okay, I had to stop the entire recording and make a new one, which is fine. I'm hoping it won't lag as much now. Let's go a bit back. There we go.
Hey, jackass! You just don't be back!
Still lagging a bit.
Yeesh, rude awakening. This one's a piece of work. Need a hand, partner?
Let's do it. Like old times.
On! Cut! Tensa! Kongetsu!
Is that the best you can do? I can go even faster if you'd like.
Hell yeah! Bring it on, asshole! I'll kill you even if it kills me! I'm putting it all on the line! You better do the same! Screw that!
I think I appreciate it. It's nice moving, huh?
Give me a freaking break. See you on the other side.
Bang.
KO!
Yeah, at least I was right. Banger. Sprite work on this is absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Um, like visually, this is just stunning. I think this is one of the best sprite fights they've done in quite a while. So let's watch the post analysis now.
Think the afterlife offers frequent flyer miles?
There's a lot to cover here, so let's break this down into 4 chapters,
Yeah,
starting
we'll
with
see
their
what they
abilities.
Yusuke could see Ichigo no problem, and resist auras like Togoro's that are similar to Reiatsu, so Ichigo couldn't cheese a win right away.
Otherwise, Yusuke was outmatched. Sure, the Spirit Gun could potentially match the Getsuga Tensho, and he had stat-boosting forms like the Mizoku. Ichigo, however, had more varied powers, a better healing factor, greater stamina given his months of Dongai training,
And all those swords,
Yusuke
he
seems
just
to be
had
pretty
way
dead.
more abilities to play with.
Likewise, speed was a fairly easy call. Yusuke could react to lightning early on, and
Yeah,
obviously
what did
got
I
much
do?
faster over time. Looking at this blast from his clash with Yomi, it erupted upwards at 57% the speed of light.
But Ichigo was
Relativistic.
faster than light from the start, and he's gotten faster too. He couldn't even see Byakuya at first, but blitzed him in the rematch. Plus, he's got tons of training and power-ups since then.
The Soul King Shockwave, for example, expanded across the realms at thousands of times light
Oh,
speed,
damn.
and Ichigo reacted to attacks from Soul King Yuhabak that utilized the same power. So, Ichigo takes speed. But Yusuke's fought plenty of foes faster and more varied than him, so it's extremely important to examine their tactics and ability to adapt mid-fight.
This is kind of both their things. Ichigo has styled on guys with centuries of training
Is
and
this
has
also
over a
attack?
decade of experience as a Shinigami. He's pretty good at figuring out new weapons and styles.
Meanwhile, Yusuke was flexible and quick to adapt, mixing cleverness with exceptional hand-to-hand. He's good enough to match Kabano, who mastered every martial art. Ichigo's
they-
decent
they-
at hand-to-hand, but it's not his go-to in the same way.
So both had their strong suits, with advantages on each side. It's fair to call this one a draw.
Leaving
Oh,
only the
sure.
biggest winning factor, which could have superseded all other advantages. Power.
Between Sensui, Genkai, and Enma, Yusuke could definitely destroy the planet. Examining his sky-splitting clash with Yomi and measuring its scale, that's about 4 quadrillion megatons of TNT, which is crazy.
Thanks, that's
Similarly,
what's on-
mid-series Ichigo could shake Huecomundo, tear through hell, and block attacks that could destroy the Soul Society. But at his peak, he beat Yuhabak, who could destroy several realms, which is far more impressive than just one.
To be fair, Yusuke also beat Yakumo, who could threaten 2 realms at the same time. Pretty close to Yuhabak's threatening 3.
And Yusuke far surpassed Yakumo afterward. The gap between him and Sensui alone was 10 times. So there could be an argument for Yusuke's power surpassing Ichigo if 3 realms was truly Ichigo's limit.
Fortunately for Ichigo, it's
As a
not.
bandit.
Yuhabak was also gonna destroy the Garganta, which has at least 29 pocket dimensions inside it.
Each containing at least a planet and star, much larger than Yusuke's planet-sized worlds. Plus, Ichigo matched Yuhabak in True Shikai, without his additional boost from Half Hollow and True Bankai.
As always with Death Battle, there's arguments either way. But the way we see it, even being generous with Yusuke's power and conservative with Ichigo's, the gap was just too big, giving Ichigo the final edge. Sorry if things got messy, but that's just how Ichi goes.
The winner is Ichigo Kurosaki.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, I wasn't originally very sold on a multi-city block. No, shoot, I wasn't originally sold on a multi-solar system Bleach before because Bleach used to be like all the way down at planet level, So for it to make such a massive jump, like I think that alone was what completely had me like befuddled. Like, oh, it doesn't make sense. They're meant to be battling with like Naruto and a Luffy down there. But this analysis I think has sold me on Ichigo's power. Yeah, makes complete sense. And yeah, I can't really poke holes at the analysis. I mean, it's pretty clear cut. Ichigo has more powers and a better power set. I personally would have given the edge in tactics to Yusuke. Just like as a constellation, but also because I think he kind of deserves it a little bit more. But again, a time making makes a lot of sense as well. Uh, Anything else I have to say about the post analysis? No. Okay, I'll just try and speed through what I think about the episode. The episode is fantastic. We are so back. Awesome. Um, in particular, the animation. I really, really love the sprite work in it. I love the visuals. I loved all of the aura clashes. I loved the massive laser beam caused by their clash. Uh, I think an underrated part of it was near the beginning where they were really, really hammering in that hand-to-hand advantage that Yusuke had. I thought that was a really cool way to showcase that. I guess they basically just showcased it by having Yusuke beat him up, but you know what I mean, yeah. Uh, Apart from that, I think my favorite part uh, of like the fight itself was when yeah, Ichigo was talking down to him, and Yusuke just goes, "Hell yeah, that is cool. That is cool. That makes me really like the guy. I kind of feel like checking out Yu Yu Hakusho now, just a little bit, because One Piece and all of that. Um, oh yeah, and the track. This track, I need to listen to it as soon as I'm done recording. What the hell was that? That thing was excellent all the way through. All the way through. Even the beginning had me like popping off and everything. What even the hell? Yeah, banger episode. I think if Ichigo's analysis was a bit better again, I'm just not a big fan of that. But if Ichigo's analysis was a bit better, I would give it like a 9. It's like an 8 to me. So yeah. Let's see what the next DB to look forward to is.
Next time on Death
Ape
Battle.
versus no? What? No way, man. No.
Subscribe and join as a member to see
Oh
more
my
Death Battle.
god,
Thanks for watching.
man.
Death Battle is back, and so is
Okay, hi, Chad. Oh my god, man. No. Oh my god. I'm not okay. Metal Sonic versus Perfect Cell. Hmm. I wonder who is going to win that one. I'm not particularly excited for that, but hey, it's a Sonic character. You got a Sonic character, you got a Dragon Ball character. It's bound to be a good episode at least. I can only imagine just how terrific Twitter is going to be about this. But man, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of following the stereotypical criticisms that people have about the matchup because the only reason I don't really like it that much is because it's not very debatable in my eyes. I think Metal Sonic just kind of wins. You know, he um he can scan and copy Cell's power far easier. He can he should be faster, should be stronger as well. Um, and in general, he should just have more abilities. That's excluding his access to the Chaos Emeralds as well. That's excluding like all of the other transformations and everything. I think um, Metal Sonic would just win. Yeah, but that's not a problem inherently the, with the episode. I think it can be cool. Um, I just hope both of them get like sufficient amounts of aura each because Cell is a pretty fun villain. Yeah. Uh, Not my favorite Dragon Ball villain, Frieza, by the way. But he's a pretty fun villain. We love Cell. And his render of like doing the thinking thing, that's like my favorite render the Dragon Ball has. One of my favorite renders of all time, in fact, because it tells you all you need to know about Perfect Cell. It tells you how quirky he is. It tells you how perfect he is. He's better than you specifically. Um, which is why I really like Perfecto. He's a nice character. Metasonic, uh, you know, can you see the thing? I like Sonic. I love Sonic. Sonic is awesome. Metasonic mm, could have better writing. Mm, we'll take it as it is. Metasonic I think Metasonic's reputation was single-handedly rebuilt by Death Battle as well, with Bowser vs. Eggman, one of my favorite episodes as well. But yeah, I'm hoping that they can sufficiently share the aura between the both of them, because it's important that it doesn't just feel like Metal featuring Cell, which is like a big criticism that I've heard of the matchup. Um, hey, we'll see. We'll see. It's a month. We now have something to be excited for. Death Battle, one of my favorite shows of all time. Possibly my current favorite show. Probably my current favorite show. I've been looking forward to this day for ages, and now I have something to keep pushing for, something to keep striving for. Death Battle is back. Awesome. So now let's talk about what's going to happen on the channel. So there's a few things. Number one, I'm going to be doing a tier list of every anime that I watched last year. That's around 89 anime on the tier list. It's going to be a really long video, and I'm not very excited to record it, which is why I've been holding off on that for a while. But yeah, 89 anime, very, very large project. And, it will be semi-scripted in the sense that I will have my notes with me. So it won't just be like random rambling like the other tier lists. Another thing I want to start doing, I saw on the Defatu Discord that people want like a YouTube channel to be reading out blogs. And I thought, hey, that's not a bad idea. Just someone to read the blogs out in like a podcast form, so that they can you know, you know what I mean. So that's not a bad idea. So I'm thinking of doing that. I guess it depends on the blogs that are coming out in the next few weeks/months. But if I see a blog that interests me, I'll make a video reading that. And I guess that's it. Yeah, the battle is back, and so am I. I have some homework to get to. You can see I'm in my college dorm right now, actually. So I'll get to that right about now. But it's been a pleasure recording my first reaction video in 6 years. And this is Soup. Come on, yeah. Signing off.